Hi, I'm Kristyn the Dietitian. In this video, I'm going to provide tips on how to pack healthy lunches. I'm going to show you what gear I find essential. I'm also going to show you some examples of what my children pack for their lunches or what I'm packing for them. And then lastly, I'm going to show you some really great books that provide lots of ideas on what to pack. So my first tip for packing healthy school lunches is to try and base your lunch off of the plate method. So you've probably seen me talk about the plate method before. If not, check out this other video. But basically the plate method is a way to make sure you're getting one serving of each food group a couple times a day. So let's say you eat traditional 3 meals a day. You would try and get a grain, a dairy, a protein, a fruit, and a vegetable at every meal. It is a great guideline. So when you are trying to decide what to pack for lunch, or if your children are, they can look for all of these food groups. Now I know for my kids, a lot of times this might mean they get a protein, a grain, and a fruit, or they might just get a protein, a grain, and a vegetable. Sometimes they do get all of the food groups, but either way, they're getting a variety of food groups. The point to this goal is to make sure your kids are getting the nutrients that each food group offers. Another great tip that I have for you is to try and pack beverages or drinks that are low in calories. The reason I talk about calories is because unfortunately there is a major public health concern with obesity in children. But even if your child is not struggling with having overweight or obesity, it's always good to set them up for health down the road and have all of these decisions they have to make themselves when they're planning their own meals. And one way is to make sure that our children can enjoy beverages that are more calorie-free, like water, instead of things like soda pop and juice. Now, if your child really won't drink water, you could always do a lower calorie juice, like Honest Kids juice. But I do think it's a great goal for every child to learn to love water. My kids always go to school with a bottle of water that they can refill throughout the day, and that is their beverage while at school. One beverage that I really think is good to include in our children's diets is milk. Whether it's dairy milk or soy milk or oat milk, these kinds of drinks offer protein. A lot of them are fortified with calcium and vitamin D, so these can be an important part of your children's diet. So I know that processed foods is a hot topic these days. Most parents need to rely on some processed foods to meet all of their needs and their kids' needs. And I think this is totally fine. There's processed foods that are going to be healthier than others. We need to look at, how much added sugar is there? How much sodium is in the product? What additives or preservatives are in there that maybe we want to avoid or limit. So processing food technically means cooking and preparing and preserving. When you see some of the lunches that my kids have packed and that I've packed for them, you'll see there is kind of a combination of homemade foods, but also some store-bought processed things that are prepackaged. Really, in my mind, like most other things, it's about balance and moderation. So what can we do that's healthy and homemade? What do we need to add from the store to meet our needs and our meals on the go? So another tip I have is to include your children in packing their lunches. There's different ways to do this. It could mean looking through books together and figuring out some fun lunches they'd like to have sometimes. It could be helping you go grocery shopping and picking out things they would like in their lunches. Or if they can't go to the store with you, they can help make the grocery list. They can tell you what foods they really enjoy, which ones they really don't want in their lunch, which ones they really won't eat, even if you do pack it. So include them. And as your children get older, as soon as you feel like they're ready, have them start packing their own lunch. It gives them a sense of responsibility. It gets them thinking about healthy eating and what foods they like and don't like, what they may want to try. And it also takes something off of your plate, pun intended. Our kids are going to grow up and prepare their own meals and pack their own lunches, and so they need to know that skill. They need to know how to do that. Another thing that is great to focus on when packing lunches or meals on the go is to make sure that we have some variety. Not only is this important for our nutrient intake, eating different foods provides different nutrients, and so it's important to get variety for that reason, but also so we don't get bored of what we're eating at lunch. So this can happen very easily, I feel, especially when you can only pack cold items. Although we've been getting a great use out of using thermoses for soups and oatmeal for lunch. So there are some hot food options, but more often than not, we're packing cold lunches. So some of the books I'm going to show you today is one great way you can try and get more variety in what you pack for your kids, and also make it more fun and exciting. With all of that being said, if you are like me, you have a child that is a pickier eater. So I have 3 children. 2 of them are pretty adventurous with food. They like most of the things I cook. But I do have one child that has always just been more picky, and that's just part of who he is. And, you know, I am always challenging it, encouraging him to try new foods. But his natural state is to just be more particular about what foods he will eat. So this does pose a special challenge for us when packing lunches. So like my son, he loves most carbs, but has only a couple of fruits and vegetables he'll eat. The one food group that I really struggle with him is proteins. So he does not like most traditional proteins that you would pack in a lunch. The only one he really enjoys is peanut butter. So we do utilize peanut butter pretty often for him in different forms, whether he's dipping something in the peanut butter or if I'm spreading it on an English muffin or some toast. And then he'll even eat a couple of peanuts. But when it comes to things like lunch meat, he will not eat that. He will not eat cheese or string cheese. He does like yogurt, so that is another source of protein. But other than that, I try to choose grains or some of the prepackaged foods I can find that have protein in them. For example, there's one brand of granola bars that he likes that has some added protein to the granola bars. And then I just make sure at breakfast and dinner, we are emphasizing protein in those meals for him. So if you have a picky eater like I do, you need to work around that, work with your child, figure out how you can maximize their nutrient intake with the foods that they do like. Now, one way to make lunches fun for our kids and enjoyable is to also include a special treat here and there. So when I say special treats, yes, I'm talking about dessert, maybe a chocolate, something small. I don't want it to be the highest source of calories or nutrition for my child, but once in a while I like to put something fun in there, and they're always it always brings them joy to find that in their lunch. Another fun thing you can do is stick some little sticky love notes in their lunches. Just a quick thing saying I love you, or I'm proud of you, or you're doing a great job, or just draw a silly picture on there for them. And that can brighten up their day too. One thing that can really help you be successful with packing school lunches is having a routine. So this specifically, I'm talking about when lunches are packed. We always pack lunches the night before. This helps minimize chaos in the morning, especially if we happen to sleep in. And it gives kids an opportunity to pack their own lunches at a slower pace, because sometimes it does take them a little bit more time to prepare the food as they're learning how to cook, or just deciding what they want to put in their lunches. It helps give them time to be creative. The other part of our routine is when the kids get home from school, it is their job to put their lunch bags and their water bottles by the kitchen sink. Then I'm able to clean out their lunch boxes, wash them, and let them air dry so that they're ready to be used again that evening when the kids pack their lunches. And then their water bottles will usually go in the dishwasher, and we have to run the dishwasher every night so they're clean for the next day. So all of this is part of our daily routine, and ensuring that we do that every day makes sure things run nice and smooth. Okay, so one last tip I have for packing lunches is to try and minimize waste. So being environmentally mindful is a great skill to teach our children. And so the way I like to do this is to buy bento boxes to pack their food. Now, once in a while, we do have to use disposable products, so I do have those on hand. But most days we're using washable bento boxes. And I have to tell you, I would love to be sending my kids to school with stainless steel. We do have a stainless steel one, but I found very quickly that it's very heavy. So again, with balancing out our children's needs, I decided that I really don't want them carrying very heavy backpacks. They're heavy enough with all of the things they have in there already. So I wanted to make sure their backpack is not too heavy, which is why we're sticking with plastic for now. However, if you happen to know of a stainless steel lunchbox, bento box that's not heavy, let me know, please, in the comments below. But we also use reusable water bottle. When my kids need a spoon or a fork, I just send them with our normal stainless steel ones, and I make sure they know those need to come home so that we're not, accidentally throwing them out at school. I haven't had to replace any that I know of so far, so they're doing a good job with that. And then our lunch bags, I have 2 different kinds of lunch bags for each child. One is more of an upright bag, and we use that when they go to school with a thermos because I want to keep the thermos upright as much as possible, and then it just fits better. And then we also have the flat rectangular lunch bags that they can put their bento boxes in. I also recommend having more than 1 lunch box per child if possible. This makes it so that if you don't have time to wash your children's lunch bento boxes or bags before the next day's lunch is packed, you have a backup. Also, one of my kids tends to forget her lunch at school, and so I have a backup for that as well. And the other essential thing that I think everyone should have if you're packing lunches regularly is thermoses. So I bought some from Aldi a few years ago that have worked really well, and they still do. So see, this is the top that fits onto here, and you screw it on, and then the spoon actually folds up. So once you fold it up, it fits in the top, and then you put the second lid on and screw that on. If you wanted, you could always pour the soup or stew into this top cup and drink it from there, or eat it from there, or you just eat straight from the thermos itself. So, and then I also bought a thermos, brand thermos. This one works well too. It also came with a spoon that folds up. This one just has the one lid on top. And I like that the insides are stainless steel. And don't forget that you always need to have ice packs to keep your kids' lunches safe while they're sitting at school for a few hours. We have an assortment, and I even bought some of these really, really big ones to use in the cooler when I go grocery shopping in the summer. My 2 daughters have actually started packing their own lunches. My son, he's the youngest, so I'm still packing his. He is a little bit more particular about what he eats compared to my daughters. So you may see a lot of repeats. I'm packing things he'll actually eat. But this is a plain bagel that's toasted, and I put some butter spread on there. So that serves as his grain. And then these are peanut butter puffs from Trader Joe's. These provide a little bit of protein. He does like peanut butter. And then he's really gotten into pineapple recently. So this will be his serving of fruit. And then also a little treat, some candy coated chocolates. They're basically like Trader Joe's version of M&Ms. This is what my 7th grader packed. So we had pizza for dinner tonight. So she's willing to eat cold pizza at lunch. So that made packing her lunch easy for tomorrow. She also packed baby carrots. These are fruit leathers from Costco. They're made of just fruit. And then over here, she has some of those candy coated chocolates and also some sunflower seeds underneath there. So that should be a nice filling lunch for her. Good job. And then my other daughter, who's in 5th grade, she packed a string cheese for her protein, pretzels for her grain, baby carrots for a veggie, and then she also has some of those candy-coated chocolates with some homemade peanut butter underneath for additional protein, and a little bit of healthy fat. So these are looking really good. I'm proud of my girls. They're working hard to get different food groups, and also packing something that's healthy, but also something they enjoy eating. So it's good practice for them. Here's my son's lunch for tomorrow. Tomorrow's Monday, start of the week, so we have pretzels that he can dip in this peanut butter, and then some fresh cut strawberries. And this is a homemade banana chocolate chip muffin. It's made with some whole grains with whole wheat pastry flour. One of my daughters is going to have oatmeal at lunch tomorrow, so I usually cook that in the morning, but I had her she likes to put blueberries in there, so I had her rinse and package her blueberries up tonight. And then she'll use a packet of oatmeal in the morning, and then she likes to add additional plain oats to it, so it's a little bit bulkier and there's more to it. And then she's also going to package some nuts or seeds. Okay, so she decided to go with peanuts for her nuts. That will go with her oatmeal for some extra protein. And then she's also going to have a Hello Panda. These are like those chocolate-filled cookies. And my other daughter is packing pretzels, peanut butter to dip her pretzels in, a banana chocolate chip muffin, and a string cheese. And then she also, for her fruit, made some chocolate-covered strawberries. This is getting a little fancy. She even put coconut oil in the chocolate so that it would harden a little bit. So she's a chocolate lover just like her mom. Tonight's lunch packing, my 7th grader packed whole grain pita bread. So this is the pita bread that's slightly toasted. And then leftover orange chicken that doesn't have the sauce on it. So it's basically like chicken nuggets. And then edamame. And then she also packed some canned pineapple for a fruit. And for my son's lunch, I packed an apple and a peach yogurt. And then I also packed some chocolate cats. They're like a sweet cracker cookie that are chocolate flavored. And then peanuts for another source of protein. And then my 5th grader decided to pack a toasted bagel with cream cheese. And for veggies, she's got cucumber slices and carrots, and then canned pineapple for her fruit. My son's lunch for tomorrow will be pretzels with peanut butter for his protein. And then we have fresh strawberries cut up and some of these Hello Panda cookies. And then one of my daughters packed a banana for her fruit. She also packed a Hello Panda chocolate cookies. And then in here is a homemade peanut butter sandwich, meaning made with homemade bread and even homemade peanut butter. So that will be her main course for lunch tomorrow. Here's what my 7th grader packed. She made a sandwich with lunch meat and homemade bread, some butter, or I think that's actually mayonnaise on there, some grapes, some carrots. And now that I see this, I'm going to have her add another grain because this probably won't be filling enough without another grain. But other than that, she did a great job. She's got her grain, protein, fruit, and vegetable. For Thursday, my 5th grader packed the last bits of homemade bread with butter, homemade peanut butter, grape tomatoes, and baby carrots with some salad dressing to dip it in. And then my other daughter and my son are both going to have some oatmeal for lunch. So my son's going to have the maple and brown sugar oatmeal with an apple. And then my daughter also wanted maple and brown sugar. She's got some blueberries in a container. And then she's also got some sunflower seeds for some extra protein. And then these packets of oatmeal are a little bit small, so I always like to bulk them up with some extra oats. I just throw in some plain oats, which is a nice way to make the serving bigger but not add any more added sugars. So I will quickly heat this up in the morning and put it in their thermoses, and that way it'll be at least warm by the time they eat it for lunch. Tonight I packed my kids' lunch. For my oldest, I packed pita chips with hummus, and this is a leftover chicken tender that was baked in the oven. And then I have cucumber slices and carrots for her, and then some fresh grapes. And then my 5th grade daughter, I gave pita chips and hummus with carrots and cucumber to dip in the hummus. And then one of these homemade cookies. These are what I call healthy cookies. They are made with whole wheat flour, oats, peanut butter, chocolate chips, cinnamon, a little bit of salt. They're delicious. And then my son, I also gave him 2 of those homemade cookies, some grapes for his fruit, and pita chips. This is all he wanted, so hopefully it's enough. It's always helpful to get the feedback when you get their lunch boxes back and you can see how much food they're eating. Helps you figure out how much to pack for them. My daughter packed her lunch for tomorrow. Tomorrow's Monday. She did a bagel with cream cheese and some everything but the bagel seasoning. And then her veggie is baby carrots. She also has a cheese stick that she chopped up. And then also some pretzels. These are multi-grain pretzels. There's some regular mini pretzels underneath, but she's going to dip those in this cocoa almond spread. It's from Trader Joe's, and it has almonds in it, so it does have just a little bit of protein. But this should be a very satisfying meal. I'd say the only thing she's missing is a fruit, and that would be good to dip in that chocolate too if she's able to add that. So for my son's lunch, we did have homemade waffles for dinner tonight. We did breakfast for dinner. And he really enjoys those in his lunch, so I just cut them up into long pieces that he can just eat with his fingers, and he doesn't really like syrup in his lunch, so he'll just eat these plain, and then some chicken sausage for protein, and then an apple for his fruit. Okay, for my daughter's lunch today, I'm doing chili in a thermos, so I'm heating up a tea kettle. This will help the thermos get nice and hot before I put the chili in the thermos. Okay, so now pour the water in and let it sit for about 2 minutes. And then I have the chili heating up here. I'm making sure it gets really nice and hot before putting it in the thermos. And then other than that, she's packed 2 pieces of cornbread for today. Okay, now I'm going to share with you some wonderful books that I have found regarding packing lunches for school. This could also apply to our lunches as adults. Now this first one is extra fun and it's extra cute. So this is called Lunchbox. So easy, so delicious, so much fun to eat, by Marnie, Hanel, and Stevenson. So there's so many fun ideas in this book. One of my kids loves looking through it. It's very inspiring. Highly recommend this book, even if I'm not doing all these extra fancy preparations that you may see on some of the pages. This book is specifically highlighting bento box lunches, which for me was really helpful because we use bento boxes almost daily. But there's different themes that you can find throughout the book. So there's ways to pack lunches based on color. So if you want like an all red or an all purple lunch, for example. They also have some shape themed lunches like star shaped, rectangle, square. And then there's also some themed by letters of the alphabet, breakfast for lunch, which we do sometimes. Now, even though this book does highlight some fun ways to pack your lunches, I would say they don't overdo it. So they're by no means lunches that take hours to prepare to make it a little bit more fun, but never feel like you have to spend a lot of extra time packing lunches to make them fun or cute. If you want to do that once in a while, I think that's great. If you want to do it every day, that's great too. It's fun to watch, fun to look at, it's entertaining. I know kids love it, but a lot of us may not have the energy to do that. We may not have the motivation or even the time. So regardless of whether you're going to make the foods look cute and fun or not. This has some wonderful ideas on what you could be including in your kids' lunches for more variety. Here's another book called Beating the Lunchbox Blues, and it was written by J.M. Hirsch, and this is a Rachel Ray book. But I like this because it does provide more ideas on how to avoid basically fatigue on what you're packing for lunch if you're getting bored with what you've been packing. So again, great ideas for kids, but this book's also very relevant to adults and what we pack for our lunches for work or anytime we're away from home. The thing that really sticks out to me with this book is that it does remind me that a lot of times packing a delicious and healthy lunch can be as simple as packing leftovers from dinner the night before. This is something I do a lot if I'm working outside the home. I pack dinner for lunch. So this book is called Let's Fix Lunch, and it's written by Nouri. This book is beautiful. It's how to eat in a way that's friendly for our planet and environmentally sound, and it has 30 litter-free lunch tips. So I really like the approach and focus that this book has. And it also has a lot of recipes in it. So if let's say you wanted to bring homemade granola, it tells you how you could make the granola. It also includes on-the-go snacks, so it has recipes for snacks and not just for lunches. This is helpful too because like my kids, I'm assuming a lot of other schools have snack time for children too, so that they're not just eating lunch at school, they're also bringing snacks. And so it's really nice to have some homemade snack options as well. And the last book that I want to highlight for packing lunches and inspiration and motivation is The Organic Lunchbox. So this one's written by Marie Lawrence, and of course they do encourage people to eat organically, but it doesn't have to be organic. Now this book is geared towards children, and it does have recipes and they look really good. So this is why I like this book a lot. Like for example, they have parsnip chips, broccoli cheese soup, which I do make at home, mini pizzas, multigrain waffles, and then it shows you how to make a lot of foods homemade, so including things like soft pretzels, breads, and rolls. So if you're hoping to make more things at home, this is a good resource. They also have homemade graham crackers. I've always wanted to try making homemade graham crackers. I haven't done so yet, but it's on my list of things to do. And then also homemade soups. So this book has lots of great ideas. Make sure you check this one out too. So what I did was I went to my library and I looked for all of the books they had related to packing lunches at home. And so the books I'm featuring today are the ones that are my favorites and that I really enjoy looking through and have some ideas I'd actually like to use for packing my kids' lunches and also my own lunches. So you are able to find these books most likely at your library as well, or through interlibrary loans if your specific library doesn't have them. I will also link these books below in case you're looking to purchase any of them. I hope this video was helpful in giving you ideas on how to pack healthy lunches for your children, how to get them to start packing healthy lunches for themselves. When they do start packing their own lunches, make sure you remember that it takes practice. Guide them as they start out, and over time they can just take over and they'll likely do a great job, especially if you've modeled what packing healthy lunches should look like. Thanks for watching this video. I've linked the books and all of the equipment that I use to inspire myself for packing fun, healthy lunches with variety, to keep everyone interested, and then to make sure that we're well organized. Let me know if you have any questions about packing healthy lunches in the comments below.